Since he won the X Factor in 2009, he's now split from Simon Cowell's label, was a recent winner of ITV's Pop Star to Opera Star, and next week he brings out his 4th album. It's called Hear What I Believe, and we'll have a track from that on the way. On a recent promotional tour to the UK, Joe McElderry visited the BBC. Joe, nice to see you.
How are you? You alright?
I'm good, thank you. Now, this is a pre-recorded interview, and I need to point out that it's an hour later than expected because you're on this mini radio promo tour, and you're being mobbed by fans.
Yeah, we got a little bit behind time because I was outside some of the places we'll be visiting, meeting fans. So it's a nice reason to be late. But I do apologise for being late.
I guess it's an illustration of, one, the popularity you have, but two, the use of Twitter, because you've been tweeting about this tour, so people are able to follow and track your movement.
Yeah, I mean, I've done about three radio tours now since the first album, up until now, and I've always kind of made it so that, fans can get involved in it, and people who want to come along and meet us, and sometimes, we do acoustic performances, and then it works nicely because you get to see them and then they get to see you, because there's some places I really get to visit, so it's nice if they can go outside. And I'm a massive fan of Twitter, so I'm always tweeting where I am anyways. So yeah, it's good.
I know with some of these tours, the record companies like to keep it quiet because if you've got a schedule to stick to, are you constantly being told off by the record label?
Sometimes, sometimes I am, but it's at the end of the day, the fans and supporters are the reason that I'm able to do all these things and release albums. So I like to spend time with them and spend time talking to them and thanking them.
It's a great testament to your career as well, isn't it? The fact that after all of this time, we still have really loyal support.
Totally. It's one of those it's one of those things where without people's support and people kind of turning up outside of venues, spending money on the tickets, the albums, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I'm constantly helpful and kind of wanting to be like accessible, you know what I mean? I don't want to kind of lock myself away and say I'm not going to meet anybody. I always meet people outside the venues after shows. I always make myself kind of, that I can just chat to them and have a normal conversation.
Is it hard maintaining a support?
I don't think so. I think if you're willing to work hard and you're willing to keep going at things, and I suppose keep people interested. All it is keeping people interested. I have to change things. Whenever I do a show, even if I'm doing the same set, I do a different thing every night so that the next people see something different or something better. So that each time, so that you're not just seeing the same thing all the time. So I suppose it's just keeping people interested, really. It's not actually hard keeping the support.
I remember chatting to you a couple of years back, after the X Factor, after the climb and everything else like that. So what's happened to you since? Different record label, at least?
Yeah, different record label. I parted ways with Psycho last year, signed to Universal Decca, released 2 albums last year, went on tour for about a month and a half, and then since January this year I've literally just been in the studio recording, so I've been mega busy for the past 2 years, just non-stop really.
We'll talk about Simon Cowell later on, but in terms of where you're at with your career now, are you in greater control of things now?
And I don't want to say that I wasn't in greater control then, or I wasn't in control. I think it was more of that I didn't have enough experience, as an artist. I hadn't really, I suppose, the way I explain it now is that I've served my apprenticeship. I've done the experience, I've done the touring, I've been around everywhere, I've recorded, this is 4th album now. I feel like I know what I'm doing now a bit more, and that's not to say that I still haven't got things to learn, and I'll make mistakes on recordings and things, and albums where I'll probably look back next year and go, I wish I'd done that instead. But, I feel like I know what I'm doing now, and I'm always learning on the job anyways, but I feel like I've earned my stripes.
Let's take the current single, Here's What I Believe. Tell me more about this song.
This is a song that I've wrote with Marcella Detroit from the Shakespeare Sisters and Gav from the band Uncle, which people will know very well. And this is the first album where I've really got involved in the songwriting process, so it's quite exciting for me to release this as the first single, considering it's one of the songs that I've written. And it's just it's a bit of a feel-good ballad about just letting somebody know that you've had enough of putting up with rubbish in a relationship, and it's kind of like a conversation to somebody, and that's the way when we wrote that song, we were having a conversation about It's basically about somebody cheating on somebody, and we were having a conversation about it and why we thought that, we were just sitting in a room with a guitar and everybody was like, why can't people just be honest with each other and be upfront, it saves a lot of time and blah 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 and all of this like conversational stuff. And I was just sitting away, writing away and kind of saying things that I would want to say to somebody in a relationship about telling the truth. Laying your cards out for everyone to see, you're tired of hanging on to all the games. And before we know it, we had a song in my hands, and it's quite a catchy one. I'm tired of hanging on to all the games you play.